it's Mary, and today we're going to be doing my January wrap-up and my February TBR. So the first book that I read this month was The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. This is the prequel to the Throne of Glass series, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I am so happy that I liked it. It was the only one that I hadn't read yet, and my brother got it for me for Christmas, so I was super happy. The next book that I read this month was Winter by Marissa Meyer, and this book was phenomenal. Go check out my review on it, or else I'll stand here all day. So I'm just going to put it down now. Now, of course, I have been continuing my reread of the Percy Jackson series. So I read The Battle of the Labyrinth and The Last Olympian this month, back to back. So I'm not quite done with reviews yet because I'm trying to figure out what part happened in which book. Some of the backstory parts are a little confusing to pick out which story that they were in, so those will be a little late, but they are coming up, so I finished these. Also, my TBR jar this month was the Rory Gilmore. Said Rory Gilmore on it, which meant I was going to read a book from the Rory Gilmore reading list. I decided that I was going to read one of the original fairy tales. Both Snow White and Rapunzel are on the Rory Gilmore reading list, and since I was reading Winter, a fairy tale retelling, I thought I would read those. There are two different Snow White fairy tales. The difference being that both of the names translate into Snow White, but they are slightly different in German. So I actually read Snow White and Rose Red before reading the original fairy tale. Also, the fairy tale that I read, I don't know if it was the very, very first one, but it didn't have the evil queen dancing off of a cliff in shoes of hot coals. Instead, it had her choking on her failure. And I like them both, but if you guys know which one of those came first, because I've heard them both as the original fairy tale, let me know. Maybe it was told two different ways. It was really interesting. And Snow White and Rose Red was about Snow White and her sister Rose Red, and they lived with their mother, and they kept running into this dwarf, and there was this bear who was a prince, and so they both had princes and dwarves in them, so that was interesting. And finally, I read the Rapunzel, the original Rapunzel, which was super interesting. It turns out that Tangled varies very much from the original fairy tale, yet Cress did a phenomenal job at adapting to the original fairy tale, and I was so surprised. Loved it. I didn't want to start another book because it was so close to February that I knew I wasn't going to finish it until February. And then I wouldn't know whether to put it in my January wrap-up or my February wrap-up. Well, I got bored, so I picked it up anyways. So I was reading Throne of Glass. I'm not done yet, so it's kind of a transition month book, but I am rereading the series just like I've been rereading the Percy Jackson series, and I'm going to try to review them this time and let you know some of my original thoughts and some of my new thoughts. Now, I'm going to choose out of my TBR jar for the month before I pick any books, because I'm getting really low on books that I haven't read yet. So let's see. What do we got? I have a book that I have started but I have not finished, which is great because I want to read The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I started this book when it was a Booksplosion Book of the Month, I think. It was talked about a lot in one month in the BookTube community, and I really wanted to read it, so I picked it up, and I got like a third of the way through, and it was like, nah. But it was really interesting. It just wasn't the right time for me to read it. So now I'm going to pick this one back up. And finally, I'm going to read It's Kind of a Funny Story by Ned Vizzini. And this one, I don't know much about, but I've read the back, and from the back, I have really wanted to read it, and I think that It's going to be very interesting. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to think of it yet, but we will see. And finally, I have finished the Percy Jackson series, and since in March, the next Percy Jackson set of books comes out, I will be rereading the Heroes of Olympus series and hopefully reviewing them. I'm not sure how far I will get by the time the next one comes out, but I will try. I will try. And so I don't own the first one. It's one of the three Rick Riordan books that I am missing. And so I will go pick that up from the library. I will read it, review it, and let you know how I thought about it. That's it for this video, so let me know in the comments down below if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them, and what you plan on reading next month. Give me a big thumbs up and click that subscribe button for more. That's it.